What's going on, friends? Sam Prentice back once again. Today we've got an epic unboxing. This is the Nebula Smart Kit from Creality. This is a cool little kit that's going to enable you to upgrade your old or existing Ender 3 into a Klipper-based machine. But is it going to be as simple as it looks? Let's get into it and find out.
You are watching a master at work.
Today's video is sponsored by PCBWay.com, and the channel is now also supported by Polymaker Filament. Links to both of these companies will be in the description below. On the topic of PCBWay, I'm working with them on a project at the moment using their multi-jet fusion machines to powder print in PA12 nylon. This process uses lamps and a fusing agent, which is basically like an ink, to melt and fuse the powder into what you see here. There is of course much more to this, and I will be making a video on it, but head over to PCBWay.com following this video to learn more about how easy it is to upload the STL files to their cloud system. And quote, thank you once again to PCBWay. Let's get back to this.
So this is the Creality Ender 3 V3 SE. It is their entry-level 3D printer, and at under $200 it is absolutely a bargain. But it does run Marlin firmware. Now there's nothing wrong with Marlin firmware, and of course if you're into the hobby and you're just starting out, it's a very, very good, useful bit of software to be using on your 3D printer. But if you want stuff where perhaps you want remote monitoring, perhaps you want to send stuff via the cloud, well, the Nebula pad is basically what that enables that to do, because that runs Klipper. But if you have an older style Ender 3, that's say maybe a V2 or a V2 Neo, then you can also use the Nebula pad to upgrade that as well. Usually what you would have done in the past is maybe you would have used a Sonic pad, or you would have used a Raspberry Pi. You would have installed all the software onto that. Basically, this particular Nebula pad enables you to do that firsthand. So to install this, all you need to do is remove the existing screen. That just pulls out, and in the back of that you'll find this little cable. Now the big problem that you're going to have is that this particular Nebula pad and the original screen are basically opposites, so they essentially would slot into each other. So we're going to need to print something to make this work and slot onto here. So to do this, I've enlisted the Creality K1 in order to print these parts.
So while that's printing away, I'll take off the existing screen, which is just held on by 3 screws. The new one, incidentally, has 2 screws, and they can be found in the kit box.
Now this part is printable and it's downloadable also from the USB stick. You can also find this on the Creality website, but not the Creality Cloud website, interestingly enough.
Just an update on the K1, it's doing a sterling job, and it's made quick work of these parts.
And here are the parts. And today we've used Polymaker PLA Purple. Beautiful.
So the chances are, if you're watching this video, you may already know what you get inside of the kit box from the Creality advertising. But if not, you get the Creality screen, which again is running Klipper, a webcam, which I believe is proprietary, an accelerometer for input shaping, and a bunch of parts like bolts, user manuals, and of course the USB stick. Oh, and a tripod that you will throw away.
So at this stage, with this particular model, we don't have access to anything that's traditionally open source. And obviously, Creality's commitment to open source is something that they keep banging on about. Other than the fact that you can now use a webcam, you can print remotely, you don't get any of the real core features of Klipper, which is a real shame. So I think what's happening tomorrow is I'm going to put a call into Creality and see if perhaps they can send me an early version of what this is going to look like, because at the moment you can't really configure anything, and other than what I've already stated, there isn't really much benefit to it.
So I called Creality, and they said no. No was the answer. Is this over? Are we done with this? And I explained to them that I really needed this because it makes no sense to not have this open source, because those key features are just not there. So I said no.
No, because this product doesn't demonstrate anything other than closing off freely available software, which in its own terms states proprietary versions or lockdown firmware does indeed infringe on Klipper licensing on the GPL v3 license.
So I turned to the community.
So where are we now? We're actually in a very, very good place. The system's now been rooted, which means you can now get full access into the Klipper firmware via an IP address. And generally the way you do that is by putting in your IP address, followed by a colon, then 4408. That then gets you into Fluid, and that then allows you to go into the printer parameters and basically play around with things as you see fit to. Now, don't just go ahead and do that if you don't know what you're doing with it. Make sure you look through the Klipper documentation
in order to get a good idea of what this firmware is certainly capable of. Now, there are a couple of creators that I would suggest and that I would certainly look to myself in regards to dealing with problems with Klipper, and that would be Michael from Teaching Tech and also Nero 3D. So make sure you check out those guys as well. Links, of course, will be in the description.
So in the thumbnail, I did talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. So, well, let's start with the good.
As I previously said, we now have an open product that really allows you to modify and tune as you see fit. It's feature rich and adds a number of real benefits to your 3D printing experience. It's resoundingly cost efficient over buying a Raspberry Pi, a power supply, camera, basically to do the same job. But the key points here are going to be around tuning your 3D printer and of course accessibility.
So what about the bad points?
I guess really the only bad points is that it shouldn't have taken a third party to break into this and release it into the wild, but thank you so much to Destinal and Gulos for their talented efforts with this. Creality's roadmap, of course, does have some flaws, and I'd really like to see better commitments to their solid promise to open source, not only just being gatekeepers to software that actually doesn't belong to them.
And finally, the ugly?
Well, this lockdown mentality and approach just doesn't sit right with me. Plus, there's no legal challenge to change this method of working. And that's unfortunate because this lockdown approach will only really affect the end users of the 3D printing community in the long run.
So in closing, I think this is an awesome piece of equipment. Certainly now that it's been opened up and you can use this as freely as you possibly like. I would certainly suggest you buy one. If you've got an older style Ender and you want to bring it up to a kind of more modern standard, maybe you want to increase some speed, anything like that, definitely check it out. The links, of course, will be in the description. Let me know about what you think about all this stuff in the comments below. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
You are watching a master work.